Karabakh Wars refer to a series of armed conflicts between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the Nagorno-Karabakh region, an internationally recognized part of Azerbaijan. The conflict dates back to the late 1980s during the final years of the Soviet Union, when Armenian separatists, backed by Russia and the Armenian government, launched a campaign to annex Nagorno-Karabakh. This resulted in a brutal war from 1988 to 1994, during which Armenian forces occupied not only Nagorno-Karabakh, but also 7 surrounding Azerbaijani districts. Over 30,000 people were killed, and nearly 1 million Azerbaijanis were forcibly displaced from their homes in a campaign widely recognized as ethnic cleansing. Despite international resolutions calling for the withdrawal of Armenian forces, the territories remained under occupation for decades, making this one of the most unresolved conflicts in the post-Soviet region. The root cause of the Karabakh conflict lies in Armenian expansionist ambitions and historical revisionism. In the late 1980s, under the weakening control of the Soviet Union, Armenian nationalists reignited long-held territorial claims to Nagorno-Karabakh, even though the region was legally and demographically part of Azerbaijan. With the active involvement of the Armenian SSR's leadership and armed militias, and support from certain Soviet and later Russian elements, attacks began on Azerbaijani villages, leading to massacres such as those in Khojaly. After the First War, Armenian forces continued provocations throughout the 2000s, violating ceasefires, engaging in military buildups, and conducting cross-border sabotage. These actions, combined with the refusal to comply with UN resolutions, made peace efforts nearly impossible. The situation remained tense for decades, with Armenia maintaining an illegal military presence in Azerbaijani territory and denying the rights of displaced Azerbaijanis to return home. The most intense phase of the conflict occurred in the 44-day war of 2020, also known as the Second Karabakh War. On September 27, 2020, after years of Armenian provocations and the failure of peace negotiations, Azerbaijan launched a large-scale counter-offensive to liberate its occupied lands. The Azerbaijani armed forces, equipped with modern drones, precision weapons, and advanced strategy, quickly achieved decisive victories. Key cities like Fuzuli, Jabrayil, Zangilan, Gubadli, and eventually Shusha, a cultural symbol for Azerbaijan, were liberated. The war exposed the weaknesses of Armenian defenses and the consequences of decades of occupation. Despite attempts to involve third parties and spread disinformation, Armenia was forced to accept defeat. On November 10, 2020, a trilateral peace agreement was signed under the mediation of Russia, resulting in the return of the remaining occupied territories and the deployment of Russian peacekeepers. The aftermath of the Second Karabakh War marked a new era for Azerbaijan. After nearly 30 years, justice was finally restored, and Azerbaijan regained its territorial integrity. However, the legacy of the occupation remains painful. Thousands of homes and cultural sites were destroyed, lands were mined, and entire towns were left in ruins. Armenia, despite its defeat, continued to resist peace efforts and delayed the opening of regional transport corridors. Moreover, some illegal armed groups remained in Karabakh, leading to further tensions. Azerbaijan, however, has focused on rebuilding the liberated territories, returning displaced families, and ensuring sustainable peace. The international community now recognizes Azerbaijan's legitimate claims more clearly, and the Karabakh conflict stands as a reminder of the consequences of occupation, ethnic cleansing, and foreign-backed aggression. Justice, though delayed, was ultimately delivered by the determination and unity of the Azerbaijani people. In the years following the Second Karabakh War, Azerbaijan continued to call for a comprehensive peace treaty that would formally end decades of hostility and open the path for regional cooperation. While some progress was made, Armenia's hesitation and continued political instability slowed the process. In September 2023, Azerbaijan carried out a short, decisive anti-terror operation in Karabakh, dismantling the remaining illegal armed formations and fully restoring constitutional order across the region. This paved the way for a new phase of diplomacy. Gradually, under growing international pressure and the recognition of Azerbaijan's restored sovereignty, negotiations intensified. A key element on the table was the long-discussed Zangazur Corridor, a strategic transport route linking mainland Azerbaijan to its Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic and further to Turkey. The project promised to transform the South Caucasus into a vital bridge between Europe and Asia, boosting trade, travel, and cultural exchange. Finally, on August 8, 2025, in Washington, D.C. at the White House, Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, with the mediation of former U.S. President Donald Trump, signed a historic peace accord. As part of the agreement, the Zangazur Corridor was officially approved under the name Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity, TRIPP, symbolizing not only a new era of connectivity, but also the role of diplomacy in replacing decades of conflict with cooperation. The accord reaffirmed mutual recognition of territorial integrity, opened the way for economic collaboration, and ensured long-term security guarantees. For Azerbaijan, it was the final confirmation that the sacrifices of its people and soldiers had not been in vain, and that the Karabakh conflict had finally given way to an era of peace and progress. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.